Check. All right, week 4 is in the books. Usually do this video on a Tuesday. It is a Wednesday though. Wednesday, October 2nd. Let's take a look at some injury reports here before we get going on anything. And then we'll take a look at our best ball teams. And we'll also take a look at some stats that I want to look at. Kind of talk about some waiver wire guys for redraft leagues, if for anyone that's interested. But just scrolling through here team by team. We'll talk about the important guys, not really focus on, obviously, you know, the defensive players and offensive tackles and stuff matter for fantasy, but also just making sure that our skill position players are healthy. McBride's still questionable with the concussion. It should be good to go by Sunday. They have a 4:25 game, I'm pretty sure. Let's see here. To the Falcons side, Bijan was one notable. Limited practice on Tuesday with a hamstring injury that also appeared on Monday, I want to say. One other thing to note, Ray McLeod limited on Tuesday. That would be big for Drake London, Darnell Mooney, probably more Kyle Pitt. I mean, McLeod's probably more like the slot guy, the underneath guy, but could be big for target shares for the other three. And then if we're looking at the Ravens, nothing of note there. Just all their IR guys. Their guard is still questionable. Bills, Shakir, ankle soreness. We'll see through the week if he's good to go. Panthers, nothing too big there. They did say they weren't taking Jonathan Brooks off of the IR yet, so we'll see if that happens next week. Chuba's playing pretty well. Obviously, Adam Thielen's on IR. Bears, nothing of note. Bengals, nothing there. Njoku, I want to say, once again, probably won't be returning this week either. The other big news, Nick Chubb designated to return off IR, so they have 21 days for that to happen, to add him to the roster. So he'll be ramping up practice. Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, doubtful for the Steelers game on Sunday night, which is huge for the Steelers to avoid pass rush. So, I mean, Justin Fields is definitely a play. George Pickens. Broncos, Tyler Bidet, questionable back, has full movement, so that's good. Scary thing, he's going to be probably placed on IR. Leaves room open for Javonte and McLaughlin again, as he was taking word from them. Brian Branch out. Lions are on a bye anyway. Watson, doubtful for the Packers. Had that nasty ankle rolled up on him. Just a ankle sprain though. Looked worse than what it was. Texans, Mixon and Dell still questionable. Expecting at least Tank Dell to return. That's what it said. Barring any setbacks. Joe Mixon hopefully good to go. Colts, two big ones. JT with I think it was a mild high ankle sprain. Yes. And then not considering injured reserve, but probably going to miss this week, possibly next week. AR considered day-to-day, possible he returns. Evan Ingram still questionable for the Jags. Nothing with the Chiefs. Nothing on Rashee Rice yet. I mean, it's been multiple days of testing, but obviously won't be available this week. On September 29th, they did say CEH is on track to return from the NFI list this coming week. So that's news for Kareem Hunt, Carson Steele, anybody that's kind of hopeful on them. They trust CEH. It could just be like a CEH Kareem Hunt backfield. Who knows? Devontae Adams questionable. He, obviously we know the news there. Looking to get him traded. So not sure if that hamstring injury is real or if it's more just like trade and not playing him. Tons of injuries on the defensive side for the Raiders. Michael Mayer still questionable. Good for Brock Bowers. At least we thought that would be good for Brock Bowers. Didn't end up that way. Chargers, nothing really offensively. Rams, DeMarcus Robinson, groin limited in practice, so that would be interesting to see for Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington. Probably means Tyler Johnson will step back in more. Odell's still out, but his 21-day window from IR is open this week. Raheem Mostert's still questionable. That offense is horrible. Jeff Wilson suffered a knee injury during pregame warmups. Not that any of that matters. That team's just a wash without Tua. TJ Hawkinson said Friday that the Vikings will discuss whether to open Hawkinson's knee window next week when he's eligible to practice. No more news on that. Nothing with the Patriots. I think Kendrick Bourne expected to have practice window opening this coming week. Trade candidate for sure. Maybe to the Chiefs. Did not want to do that. Saints, A.T. Perry, questionable. Taysom Hill, questionable again. Did steal 2 goal line touchdowns from Kamara. Then got hurt again. Neighbors, that concussion, should be back. He had 10 days to rest. Aaron Rodgers questionable. This is news. Leg Tuesday. His knee feels swollen. The horrible news for Garrett Wilson. Rip to me. Eagles on a bye. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith should be back. After that, Steelers. Jalen Warren questionable. No updated news. Cordero Patterson. No more news after his ankle injury on Sunday. 49ers, Juszczyk, day-to-day with a shoulder injury. Kittle, ribs, day-to-day. Obviously CMC, not looking great there. And then Ricky Pearsall, still no decision to take him off IR yet. Seahawks, nothing there on offense. The Bucks, Jalen McMillan, hamstring listed as a non-participant Tuesday. Trey Palmer had a concussion. Mike Evans, knee calf limited Tuesday. Titans, Will Levis, the big one here. Shoulder remains starting quarterback as long as he's healthy. No news on the shoulder, though. Eckler for the Commanders. Concussion, expects to be back on the field week 5 for the Browns. So that's it for the injuries. Let's head on over to... I did want to look at one stat for receivers, and that would be catchable targets compared to their actual targets. So if we're looking at like a difference here, Neighbors, 38 catchable targets to 52 actual targets. So that's 14 target difference in terms of what's catchable. Obviously, Danny Dimes not the greatest quarterback. Nico Collins, 12 difference in that category. Just want to see like the biggest outliers there, because Wandale, same thing, 10 with Daniel Jones. Just want to see the outliers there because that can be like a positive regression, in my opinion. I think league average last year, it would be like it was like 70% of their targets, 69% was the league average for like the top receivers. So like if you're looking at 26 divided by 36, that's 72% of their targets that were catchable. So a little over league average. So 38 out of 52 is still 73%. So he's still above average for Neighbors. Rashee Rice, obviously well above average. He was last year, just being underneath guy. If we're looking at like Amari Cooper, he's below league average at 65%. You would hope that can positively regress. CeeDee Lamb, same thing. About league average. You would hope that the elite guys are working well above league average. DJ Moore, below league average at 65%. Same with Garrett Wilson, 65% catchable balls. Deontay way under that at 54% catchable. So that's not good. But again, like I said, it's to notice these guys for positive regression candidates that will hopefully be, catching more. But that is all kind of indicative of quarterback play. Mike Evans, 19 of 29, is a little bit below average at 66%. So it's interesting to see. Let's take a look at red zone targets. Deontay actually leads the league with 8 and Cortland Sutton. Nico Collins 7. Wandale at 7. That's crazy. George Pickens 6. So some notable guys here. Anyway, let's hop over to our underdog. Let's take a look at how we're doing this week in our best ball. So a little bit worse than last week. If we just take an overall look at our normal tournament, after draft tournaments, we entered 41 of these. Right now we're only moving on in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 41 is 17%, which is about on par for average because top 2 make it in most of these tournaments out of 12. So 1 out of 6 is 16.7%. So slightly above average in terms of advance rate. Last week, I think we were 12 out of 41, which is well above advance rate at 29%. Again, a lot of these are only single entry or double entries in these contests. Whereas like the Puppy 3, the Fast Puppy, I definitely entered more. So I'm obviously going to move on and more. But yeah, again, it's all about how, part of it is how much you're entering too, right? But nothing moving on in these super flex leagues. Not doing well at all in them actually. 8th, 10th, and 12th in those. Pre-draft best ball, I'm doing really well. Little board, a team in 1st, 9th, and 7th. This team, again, we look at this one every week, is crushing. Well above the field here. Top 4 in these move on. As you can see, it says advance underneath the names. But again, we'll look at this team just briefly. Again, it's Lamar, Baker, Minshew. But it's just really being carried by Derrick Henry, the huge Kenneth Walker game. The running backs, especially the top couple, have been hitting. And then receiver-wise, have had great touchdown luck with Jefferson and Harrison. And then the spike weeks from really nobody there. I mean, the Brock Bowers, it's really just been the running backs and the quarterbacks carrying this team. But one thing to note, too, with like this team, if Jacoby Myers becomes the wide receiver 1, it's a good outlook for this team with Devontae being traded. Same with Brock Bowers. These 2 guys get a bump. Tyler Lockett's obviously hit or miss. Romeo Doubs could get a bump here with Christian Watson out. Mike Williams finally ramping up. If we're looking at Little Board, I'm in 2 second place teams, a 1st place and a 7th place. So if we're looking at the 2nd place team, doing really well, almost 500 points through 5 weeks. Again, if you're averaging 500 points through 4 weeks, I mean, that's average of 125 points. Kyler, Trevor, Russ is a 0 so far. Subject to change. Pacheco obviously not going to do much for us, but this team is definitely in it. If Pacheco does come back, it's definitely in it if it can advance because this running back group is insane. You got all viable guys here with Pacheco, Kamara, Chubb coming back, Ford still playing in the mix in the passing down situations. Dobbins, obviously the one there in LA. Rico kind of separating himself in Dallas. Justice Hill getting a ton of work in the passing game. Even with Derrick Henry's involvement, they're just utilizing their running backs at an insane rate. And then the wide receivers, hopefully for this team's sake, Rashee Rice didn't tear his ACL, because this team would smash with Chase, Rice, Pittman, and Downs finally getting a little boost with Flacco. But even AR, when he was, playing last week for the first drive and a half before he went out, was slinging it, finally hitting guys on those intermediate routes, crossers, things like that over the middle of the field. Yoshi Voss getting home with touchdowns. Zay Jones suspended. He should actually be back. Never mind, he's suspended one more game. Oops. Mims a 0. Kelsey going to start getting more work if Rashee Rice is out. Even if he's not, I still expect Kelsey to be getting more work just in terms of the running backs being out. Freiermuth, decent pick. Another team over 500 points. AR Cousins team, so need AR to play. Kirk can't really sustain this team. Another one where the running backs are super solid. I was drafting a lot of Zach Moss, especially early on. These were drafted before Zach Moss even was announced to Cincy. So that was part of my thesis, was just him getting traded somewhere to be a starter. But yeah, 4 viable running backs, 4 starters here. And then the receivers are hitting. If Kupp comes back, that'd be huge. Was a big fan of Yoshi Voss and Shaheed in a lot of drafts as well. But for our sake, Njoku needs to come back because Kate Otten is the only one carrying this team. Brevin Jordan is on season-ending IR here. Lastly, the number 1 team. This team is ridiculous. 580 points. Mar Love, crazy quarterback room. The running back room's solid, at least the top 4. Dameon Pierce could see work if he gets healthy. Especially with Mixon already being banged up. But the receiver room is crazy with Debo. If Adams gets traded, it could be a big bump for him. Jaden Reed's been going off. Deontay going off. Shaheed going off. Worthy getting more work. Just those long touchdowns being robust. Bateman even contributing some. Juwan Jennings, obviously. Then we got Kittle, Freiermuth. Like, this team's a smash play right here. That's a super sick team, barring injury. Love that one. Could win some money there. Not even sure what the winnings are for that. It's a little bored. 15K to first. So, I mean, that team's a smash. So moving on in 4 out of 7 of the little board. So the advantage rate is crazy in this. Again, it's only week 4. So we're just doing this every week to update ourselves and give us some feedback. The Poodle 2, we're in 5th. The Hound Dog, we're in 11th. Again, this can all change in an instant with injuries, guys stepping up and whatnot, guys showing out, post-buy bumps, things like that. Hound Dog, we're in 1st on one of these teams by 12 points. A Jordan Love, Geno Smith, Bryce Young 0 unless he starts again, which Canales did leave room for him. Jordan Stemmark. What's up, my man? Well, let me open my phone. I can't see your question. Appreciate you for popping up in chat. Appreciate you for asking a question here. Asking Tutu or Dobbs? I mean, personally, if that's the only 2 you're asking, I would go Tutu. I'm actually contemplating starting Tutu in my 14-man league. But with DeMarcus Robinson with a groin injury being limited, Tutu and Jordan Whittington should see a bump up. Let me look. So, I mean, they both play each other. They play each other. Like the Rams play the Packers. If we're looking at the point total of this game, 47.5. Packers are favored. One thing to note too, Jair Alexander's questionable for this game for the Packers. But this should be a high-scoring matchup. But I would lean 2-2, just with the Demarcus Robinson injury. That's my 2 cents on it. Dobbs probably has more chance of a touchdown. 2-2 definitely more chances of bigger plays and getting open. Dobbs is like Jordan Love's safety net for like moving the sticks and stuff. Bigger guy for the red zone. So if you want to play it safer and get guaranteed like 11, 12 points with potential breakaway of a big touchdown, 2-2. If you want to play it with touchdown upside, it's probably more Dobbs, but I would be running 2-2 here. Anyway, back on to task at hand here. Speaking of the Packers, got Jacobs on this team. So Barkley, Jacobs, Montgomery, Mostert, McLaughlin. Not a bad team. I mean, the top 3 running backs are crushing. McLaughlin needs to step up. Mostert's not even playing. The Miami Dolphins players are basically a 0 at this point without Tua. Unfortunately, this team has Tyreek. Ridley's basically, super boom and bust. Another team with Myers where Devontae needs to get out of there. Darnell Mooney's been a smash. Laporta been not a smash. Freiermuth. So over a decent team. Not my favorite team. Not my least favorite team. Okay, moving on. Let's look at Fast Puppy. Got 2 teams in first, a team in second, 2 teams in third, a team in fourth. So really crushing Fast Puppies here. Let's only look at the advancing teams though. Keep it shorter here because I do want to get into a best ball resurrection draft here. Let's fly through this. This team has 531 points. Lamar Stafford team. Lamar just carrying this whole team. But Stafford should see better days once Puka and Kupp get back. And Kupp is on this team, so really praying for that to happen. Running back room, solid here. Javonte should continue to get work. Foreman's probably going to end up being a 0. But the top 4 guys here, especially the top 3, solid roles in their offense. Barring injury, Jefferson, Evans, Higgins gets going here. He's seen the volume, just needs to start seeing the touchdowns and, the positive regression. Palmer is 0. I mean, just not seeing work in that offense like I and many suspected. McMillan hurt, but hopefully he's back here off that hammy. Judy getting home on a very pass-friendly offense in Cleveland, and still the upside chance that Jameis Winston turns into the quarterback there. And then the tight end room is sick with Freiermuth likely and Juwan Johnson, like super high upside room. Volatile, but high upside for any of those guys. The second place team, 514 points. This lobby has a ton of 500-point scores. This is a Lamar Herbert team. Herbert on a bye this week with smashing with Henry. Jacobs needs to see some positive regression on touchdowns. Eckler should play this week. Chuba smashing, and CH expected back this coming week off the NFI. Interested to see how much he contributes to this team. I'd assume he turns into more of the 2-minute drill or the passing down back taking place of P. Ryan. He's more trusted there. CEH probably a little more explosive But not going to be the every down back. Still Kareem Hunt probably taking those roles, but I'd expect him to mix in more. Kieran to take a backseat. Carson Steele probably just out of the mix. For those of you who love Steele, joke's on you. Was never interested. Chiefs they know better than that. Receiver room, pretty sick here, especially if Adams gets traded. McConkey starting to show up. Cortland Sutton, like, getting tons of targets, getting tons of volume. Like, if you look over here, Sutton tied with DK Metcalf in targets at 36. But if you're looking at catchable targets, 17 out of 36. So 47%, that's way below the average of like 70%. Now, you're just going to be wish casting and dreaming that gets closer to league average. Probably won't all year unless Bo Nix really figures it out. And it could correct itself later in the year where this stuff really matters in weeks 15 through 17. Brendan Rice going to be a 0. But the rest of these guys, pretty solid boom bust receiver room outside of Jefferson, who should be consistent. But McConkey working himself into a role. Yeah, and then Bowers, Hawkinson should be coming off IR here soon. Jonnu as well. Going to be a 0 for now until Tua is back, but does have a role in that Miami offense. Looking at the other first place team, again, another 500-pointer. Jalen Hurts, Bo Nix team. Hurts underwhelming performances so far. They're on a bye this week. This is an A.J. Brown team and a Dallas Goedert stack. So they're all on bye. It's going to need Hunter Henry, Tyler Conklin to step up. Nico Collins has been a huge smash carrying this team for A.J. Brown. Once A.J. Brown's back, this team will be sick. Again, the running backs have been sick. Charbonnet getting less usage now that Kenneth Walker's back, but the 2 weeks we had him, he was a hit. Unfortunately, Rashad White's losing work to Bucky Irving, but the good news is Estime could take over the Denver backfield after he's back from IR. That's to be seen, though. But James Cook could carry this backfield with Buffalo's offense being so run-heavy. Hopefully, Dowdle runs away with the Dallas job. But more so the receiver room on this team is sick. I went double Houston with Days Collins, Sutton, Shaheed, Coleman. Like, this is a solid team. I'm enjoying that one. Let's head over to the Puppy 3, where we have one team in first, one team in second, a team in third, a team in fourth, a couple of teams in sixth. Again, that can change at any minute. Obviously, you don't want your team in 11th and 12th, but could obviously change on spike weeks. But this team, 547 points, crushing. It's 41 points or 21 points ahead of the next closest. And before we check out this team, if you haven't already, please guys, drop a like, subscribe, drop a comment. What you like about these teams, what you want to see in the future, what you want me to talk about. I'm just trying to give insights on these teams, how good I think they are. It's only week 4. Like I said, a lot of things can happen. But trying to give up to date, like real time, evaluations of the players as well. That's happening from week to week when we do this. Also, this is on Underdog Fantasy. If you want to join and don't have an account, link in description, code TEMPTATION, spelled right here, TMPTATIIUN. Obviously, that's not the Fantasy Spitters handle. That's my gamer tag. That's what I game with and everything, and that's why I created that on Underdog, because I started Underdog before I started doing YouTube and whatnot. But again, that'll help me out, help you guys out. You get 50% deposit match, I think up to $1,000. Plus, Underdog does a ton of free promos and stuff all the time. You can draft daily fantasy stuff, so DFS for every Sunday, even for Thursday night games, primetime games. Right now, Best Ball Resurrection's going on, which is what we're going to hop into, which is Best Ball starting week 6. So you get more information on teams. I love Best Ball Resurrection. Last year I did really well. I bet on the Bills a ton and advanced a lot of teams. But anyway, back to this. Jane Daniels' team with Stafford Carr. So not a bad quarterback room. Obviously hitting on the QB1 right now, Daniels. With, again, another solid running back room. Achane struggling a little bit. Bijan not panning out to be exactly where you drafted him. but they should see better days. Charbonnet's still a great handcuff. Should see touchdown work sometimes. He's obviously the passing down back there. Dobbins, Hill, Bigsby has a path to taking over that Jacksonville job possibly. The receiver room, pretty strong as well. Got the double stack with Seattle here. Metcalf, JSN. Johnson smashing, McLaurin smashing. It's a solid receiver room. Solid tight end room with Kincaid, Bowers. Really liking this team. This has a chance to really bring it home, I think. 100K to first for the Puppy 3. Looking at our second place team, just crosses that 500 point threshold. Kyler Murray, CJ Stroud, it's a quarterback room, pretty sick. James Cook, Chase Brown, Jerome Ford. Then a bunch of zeros, but Trey Benson has a path to taking over that, only in terms of like injury. Jalen Wright, I mean, again, any Miami piece right now is just you don't want on your team. But the receiver room on this team's sick with Chase, Collins, and Neighbors. Samuel 0. Still think he's dealing with turf toe. They haven't said anything about it, but like it just doesn't look the same. Doesn't look like Curtis Samuel out there. Darnell Mooney a smash. Jalen Tolbert dealing with an injury, but hopefully he's all right. Yoshi Voss obviously getting home with tons of touchdowns. Playing Tyler Boyd role, but bigger Tyler Boyd. And then tight ends, Fant, McBride. Need McBride to be healthy. That's the two Puppy 3 teams, and then we have one more team advancing in the Mini Schnauzer. Let's actually take a look at the Puppy 2. We have a team in 3rd in the Puppy 2, a team in 5th. And the normal Puppy, kind of just in the middle of the pack there for now. MMG's Best Ball, 9th and 9th. Not great there. The Corgi, 11th. Meh. German Shepherd, 4 and 10th. So, possible. Mini Schnauzer, that we do have a team in 1st and a team in 3rd. This team advancing has 532 points. Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield. Again, hitting on these quarterbacks so far. Kamara, White, Robinson. Zeke's getting pushed out of that Dallas backfield, getting outplayed by a fullback. Lloyd probably going to end up being a 0, barring any injuries. He needs to even just get healthy himself first. Out through week 6 because he's on IR. Zamir White is 0. I mean, honestly, Kamara and Robinson Jr. are the only running backs in this team, so I'm not liking this too much unless one of these two guys finds a pathway or Zeke can work through, a Lupke injury or something, or a Dowdle injury, but the running back room sus. The receiver room looks pretty sick, especially the top 4 with the double stack of Evans, Godwin, and then the tight end room's sick. It's just the running back room's super weak. Zamir White basically getting pushed out of that backfield with all of his fumbles. Mini Schnauzer 3. That's 5th place. Schnauzer 4, 6th place. So a lot of middle of the pack teams. The 5, a 6th place team. That's it for the tournament stuff. The marathon drafts, these ones are pretty bad, so we won't even look at those. I'm in 1st in 2 of these just sit and go drafts, these 12 persons. I'm in 1st by a zillion points right here. AR, Deshaun Watson, Geno Smith team with Jacobs Jones, Harris, Chuba. Super sick running back room. Mitchell sucks. That's a 0 on IR. Receiving room, wow. Every single one of these has been a smash. Amon-Ra, smash. Drake London, for what he is right now, not a smash, but with the rest of this team, can be a smash because Neighbors, Reed smashing. Jacoby Myers could be even more of a smash. Wicks, smash right now. With Christian Watson hurt. Darnell Mooney, smash. Njoku needs to be healthy, but look at this tight end room. Njoku, Bowers, likely. Super sick team. Obviously, it's not a tournament team. It's only for $20, but should win that one. This other team is barely in 1st by 0.06. My Mahomes Lamar team that I love so much, but now probably getting crumbled by Rashee Rice and Christian Watson being hurt. But lastly, weekly winners. I haven't gotten home, like I said before on my previous videos. I have so many injuries piled up in these 5 teams. I have 2 McCaffrey teams. I have a Puka team. My only healthy team hasn't done much, and now it had Joe Mixon injured. It had Devonta Smith injured. Evan Ingram's been out, and I have Evan Ingram on like 3 of these. Been rough for my weekly winners, but that's the review of that. Let's hop into a Best Ball Resurrection draft. And then that'll be the last thing we do on here for this stream. So far, like I said, advancing at a normal rate right now. Such a long season. Still 10 more weeks for till best ball playoffs, till fantasy football playoffs. Long season, a lot of things can happen. Wait, let me leave that one. I want 30 sec. Oh wait, are these all 30 second? Okay, these are all 30 second. I didn't want to be put into. We were doing 15-second ones, and that was kind of hard for me. So I was trying. It was just too fast of picks. So it's a little better here. Waiting on 2 guys here. If we're looking at the rankings, Saquon's move up to solidify himself as the 1 in ADP. If we get a good spot, I made 2 teams so far in this. If we take a look, I'll actually just go to it. Drafts completed, resurrection. So we have a Lamar, Deshaun / Jameis team. Just on the contingency that Jameis comes a starter. This was a Gibbs Kyron start, I think. Rashad White, Tyjae Spears, CEH. Liking that pick more and more with CEH coming back. The nice thing is this does start week 6. Now that gives us Jahmyr Gibbs and Tyjae Spears like basically free, right? Because they have no buys. Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, Amari Cooper, Michael Pittman, Christian Watson's a dud now with being injured, but he'll have some time to get back for the start of this. Njoku, Schultz, just banking on Njoku being healthy. Decent resurrection team in my opinion. This other team was more banking on Jacksonville. I don't know why I took Devon Vele. Just do that in there. Brock Bowers, Schultz, Theo Johnson, upside play here. Alright, the draft started. We are in 12th again. So that's the team that I went Gibbs Kyron in. These are almost filled too, so let's see how many more. I said I would like to get 5 entries into this. We'll see if that happens. This is well over 50% filled. Only 10,000 more entrants to go. But will be interesting to see. See if there's any news going on. I really want to see some Rashee Rice news. Barkley off the board. Lamb. See if anything goes. Hmm. Collins off, Mason off at 4. That's so cool and crazy. I've been noting like the Mason team's been taking CMC. Smart. St. Brown, Chase off. I'm trying to think what we want to do here. Hmm. All right, let's see what we could conjure up here. Derrick Henry off at 10. Do I continue my love for AJ Brown? I think I must. We'll go AJ Brown. And we're going to go AJ Brown and Gibbs. Take the 2 week 5 teams on the bye. Get a nice balanced build. And then we can go from there. Evans off the board, Kyron off at ADP. Mike Evans off at ADP? No, Mike Evans off way ahead. Holy crap. Kamara goes at a value. I'm trying to make a trade in my 1 fantasy league, my 10 team, 2 flex league. Have AJ Brown. Need to get rid of him, I think. I think James Conner. Mm. Garrett Wilson off. Man, I don't know about Garrett Wilson. I mean, the target share is there. Like top 10 in target share. Like, but AR a little bit injured now. Kind of scares me. I don't know. Saying this for reasons that I have Garrett Wilson on my team. Jets, Cowboys amongst teams interested in Devontae Adams. Okay. Hope the Steelers get him. The Steelers need somebody. Christian Kirk up for trade possibly. Amari Cooper. Chiefs not expected to pursue Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams prefers to play for Jets or Saints. That would kill me. With my Rashid Shaheed bags. Read off, Olave off. 3 quarterbacks off, including Stroud? What are we doing? What is this lobby? This might get thrown away. He goes Mason Stroud. That's 40 picks before Stroud goes in ADP and 32 picks before Mason goes. I get the Mason thesis, sort of. Not at pick 4, but this draft may get thrown away. All right, we're up soon. Cooper Kupp off. We'll go ahead and take Ayuk. And then we'll go ahead and take Kenneth Walker. So we'll stay balanced here. I thought about doing the double Detroit thing. That's worked for me in the past. Still wouldn't mind doing that at a point in time. Daniels off. Did think about going Daniels, but it's because us a chance at Hurts. I mean, Hurts isn't going to fall, but Purdy. I'm looking at quarterbacks that I like, especially with where we draft at. Don't like Mahomes. Big fan of Love. Did T. Higgins go? No. Still a fan of Burrow. Did Terry go? Terry's pick 55. Montgomery off at 40. Neighbors, Kyron, Diggs, Montgomery. a lot of these teams going balanced here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams so far with 2 running backs, 2 receivers. So that's kind of crazy. I mean, if you're looking at it, like a lot of these running backs were 5th, 6th, 7th round picks. Looking at like, especially early on in best ball, Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker, Dave Montgomery, James Conner, even Kamara, James Cook, all those guys were guys going in the 5th, 6th, 7th round at the beginning of best ball, even going into like August. And now they're going in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round. CMC finally off. It's pretty crazy. I mean, to see that. Bills offense coordinator Joe Brady. Curtis Samuel has to play more. I have to find ways to get the ball in his hands because good things happen. Hmm. Hurts off to the Smith Barkley team. A good build there. What was Jalen's ADP? Damn, he falls way past ADP. I mean, obviously he hasn't been playing up to expectation, but regardless. Hmm. Coming up yet? B-Rob off. So now through 5 rounds, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams out of 12 that are 2 RB, 2 receiver. So a balanced build. Only one team going hero RB with JT. 2 actually. The other one, James Cook team with Reed, Higgins, Moore. And I like that. He set himself up for quarterbacks. He goes with the Cincy double. All right, here we go. Coming up here for us. Do we even look at Rashee Rice? No, we can't bet on that. We have no idea what's going to happen. I'd be willing to go Murray McBride. And just double click that, I guess. Risky in the state of tight end, but I mean, who else am I going to take there? I get them fallers in ADP, so good value. I thought about JSN to pair with Walker. I could have went with like a Geno Smith. But now I like where I'm at here, and I still have a chance of like Jake. Unless Jake Ferguson falls. I like that buy though. Laporta off. Jordan Love goes early to the Jaden Reed team. I mean, for good reason. Jordan Love just threw 4 touchdowns in like 350. Holmes to the Kelsey team. Maybe he double taps Burrow there. Honestly, I'd imagine he might try that. Love and Burrow have the same bye, week 10. 12, no. This guy's building a good team. I do like trying to build teams that are, especially in this, like, we have the information in front of us. For the most part, obviously, anything can happen any given Sunday and whatnot, but to like build teams that we know are good but are struggling. So that was like my whole thesis behind building that Jacksonville team. Unfortunately, they're 0-4, so who knows? But teams that are struggling in the moment, but we know they're good and we know they have a shot at being much better than where they're at. And that's what you can build these teams around. Arizona, one of these teams that just struggled last week, so people are going to panic. My thesis going into the season was they're much better than people would make them out to be. They did just get crushed by the Commanders. So, I mean, I don't want to talk too much, but. And then this team just so happens to be being built around A, the NFC, but B, NFC West. So you got Ayuk, Walker, Murray, McBride. It's interesting there. Let me look at. If we're looking at the Seahawks schedule for like week 17, they play the Bears. And the Packers, Vikings, Bears. Cardinals play Patriots, Panthers, Rams. Packers, Vikings, Bears. My thesis was right. He goes Burrow and Jordan Love. Like that team. He's probably going to be struggling at running back, though. Some wish casting for an injury with what he's going to have available to him. I mean, he can still get like, I don't know. The amount of running backs go off the board. Running that build obviously could get you there, but who knows? We need to start pounding a receiver. We're definitely weak on that front. We could go Chicago with the Dunze. Did Keenan go? Keenan Allen's still on the board. Nervous for Jonathan Brooks. Jonathan Brooks goes. Okay, so we're ripping like. Let's go McConkey. He's building a role in this offense. Now where do we go with this? We'll continue down with the Dunze, I think. Just for the correlation with Seattle. Could have went Chuba. Pass on that though. Could run Charbonnet with Walker. Swift still an option on the way back around. Maybe, potentially. Interesting. Tyler Lockett at? How far down is Tyler Lockett? 136. Jesus. Still one of the most pass happy offenses. All right. Like Panthers. Tommy Tremble, huh? We'll get on there. Rams. Like Patriots. Henry, Polk. Do you like Gibson? Obviously Hunter Henry. Got any Vikings out here? Sam Darnold. I mean, I don't have any Vikings pass catchers, so not super interested. I think all the Packers are taken. You still got Dobbs, Watson, Kraft. I do love me some Tucker Kraft right now. Manuel Wilson, he's a guy. Dobbs, Watson. Just nervous about Watson if Wicks just ends up taking that job. Bears. Swift. Caleb. Roschon. I guess you could add Komet there. All right, let's look at like pass rate over expected here. The Bears a little bit under, but the Bears pass rate is at 64%. They want to throw the ball. They can't run for shit. I still like Caleb Williams. Coming up here. Wicks was off here. Wow. I expect Caleb Williams falls. Quarterback wise. We could just run Purdy and rip 2 quarterbacks here. Maybe we do that. I think I'm gonna do that if Purdy falls. Why would anybody take Purdy? I think anybody has any ties. Swift goes, so there goes our plan there. Baker off. I'll take the falling Purdy in hopes that he gets more efficient with our Ayuk stack. Pacheco off. So we'll take the falling Purdy. The real question is, do we go Charbonnet? No, we'll go Purdy. And Njoku. We're going to go 2 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks here. And we just need to rip receiver, running back. Again, assuming Cleveland potentially trades Amari Cooper. Or Jameis Winston comes in and Njoku just, I mean, they want to pass the ball. Boom. They're a candidate for positive regression team. With Njoku coming back. Possibly this week, at least week 6. McBride. Kyler, regression, positive. Same with Ayuk and Purdy. And then we got McConkey, AJ Brown, and Gibbs already on their bye weeks. Dunze set up for Seattle. ADPs, we're getting tons of value picks. In my opinion. So let's run with it. Every team receiving yards leader. Let's see if anything's sticking out. Jawan Jennings, 364. Dallas Goedert, 301. Alec Pierce, 234. Khalil Shakir, 230. Darnell Mooney, 225. The leader for the Falcons. Tutu Atwell, 223 for the Rams. Brock Bowers, leading receiver, 216. Alan Lazard, of course, 206 for the Jets. Isaiah Likely, leading receiver for the Ravens at 167 yards. Hunter Henry, 148. Now, let's always remember, too, we're only through week 4. We know a little bit about these teams. We know about a lot of injuries already. We're uncertain about some of the injuries. We don't know who's coming back when, necessarily. A lot of uncertainty. And at the same time, if you're looking at the fantasy leaders last year through 4 games, So we're looking at, whoops. Looking at fantasy leaders, we go to more. We go to 2023. We're 6 picks away on here, making sure we're paying attention. But weeks 1 through 4, PPR leaders at running back last year. Average points per game. HN kind of skewed with that 50-point game. I see, let's go total just because. Raheem Mostert, Kyron Williams, HN, Walker, Bijan, Tony P, Swift last year. Things are obviously subject to change. If you're looking at receiver, though, wide receiver 1, CeeDee Lamb was 13th. All right, we're coming up here. No quarterbacks. We're off the quarterback train. On to running back, receiver only. Rolled out this week. I do like some Jaylen Warren in my life. All right, let's go. Stay positive on Warren. Do we run with Judy or Lockett? Let's run Lockett. I do hope Jaylen Warren can get healthy. Because the Steelers need him in that run game. Caleb Williams off. Cade Auden at 130. What's going on? Cade Auden, 60 picks before ADP. With the Baker Mayfield stack. All right, buddy boy. I do like our team. We're just weak at receiver. Okay, there we go, an hour 15 in this stream. Watson finally off, 20 picks past ADP. Sam Darnold, Fields, Hawkinson, Najee. That's a pretty solid team there. Do we think Sam Darnold continues his run as a top 5 QB? Debatable. Do I like the Travis Etienne pick? No. Najee? Obviously, with this team betting against Najee because we have Jaylen Warren. Did Algier go? No, yeah. Madison? It's an ugly pick. Love me some Tyler Algier. Love me some Justice Hill. Love me Antonio Gibson. Man, receivers are going to be so suspect for us. It's going to be rough. Outside of our top guys, Algier does go 150. Justice Hill goes at 149. Damn it. Todd Chandler still on the board. Mike Williams on the board. I do think Mike Williams starts to have bigger weeks. This is like no man's land for us here with receiver. Jalen Polkoff? So weird. I think we continue to run Yoshivas Williams. I'm going to snag Antonio Gibson. Derek Carr off the board. Yoshivas goes, so we'll go Mike Williams, Antonio Gibson. In my opinion, a lot of these receivers just kind of all the same going down the board. Trey Tucker off at 160, Jalen Tolbert off at 159. Kind of scared with the Devontae Adams trade if he goes to Dallas. Obviously, Trey Tucker's a good pick if Adams goes and does get traded. But the Tolbert pick, who's it impact more, Cooks or Tolbert? I'd honestly say Cooks. But I mean, I can't imagine either of them would get the ball if Devontae was in Dallas. Now, I picked Mike Williams with the... It's the same deal, but I think Mike Williams is a better player than Tolbert. Devontae does good to the Jets. Then Mike Williams' pick is cooked. Zamir White gonna fall down these boards. Cooks off, Bateman off. I mean, I like Alec Pierce. I do still like Demarcus Robinson, but he's more of a factor when Kupp and Booker are back because, you know, he's not going to be the alpha. Still love me some Ray Davis with how run heavy the Bills are. Jalen Naylor is going to be phased out. with Addison back and Hawkinson coming back. Still like McMillan, but he's hurt. Could do like a Ricky Pearsall. I just find it hard for him to find his way on the field. Caffrey still an upside play. Feel like Thielen for later in the year. Andy Dalton off. We are set up here where we can rip. How many rounds do we have left? 4 rounds. We can go 6 and 8 here. Or 7 and 7. Danny Dimes off. But we're done at quarterback. We're done at tight end, like I said. So sets up ourselves up for something better. In terms of upside at the running back receiver position, Juju off the board. Still love me some Alec Pierce. Running back wise, later down the road. Anything different from what it is now? First, like receivers later. Let's grab Ray Davis. I don't think he's bad. Especially on a team that's super run heavy. I do like him there. I want to go McCaffrey. Still maybe a chance McCaffrey. Chance of McNichols later. Definitely like the estimate pick later. Could replicate Kyle Juszczyk. Ty Johnson. I think I'm more on the estimate train. Possibly Vidal. DH off the board. Whittington and Atwell off. We just have a lot of home run hitters here with Williams, Pierce, Lockett, Adunze. A lot of downfield guys. Eric All off the board. Nice. A ball and over. Eric All. Two more picks left. I like this team. I mean, it worked out in terms of what I wanted to do at quarterback and tight end. Getting a 2-2 build, that's nice. We're going 2-6-8-2. You go 2-5-9-2 if you want. You go 2-7-7-2 if you want still. McMillan off at 191. Is that to the Baker team? No, this guy has 4 quarterbacks. Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Anthony Richardson, Justin Herbert. That's got to be auto-picked, right? With CMC, Chubb, and White. This team can't be real, right? Andrews, Freiermuth, McMillan, Jennings, Waddles, Rice, Wills. That team's a joke, right? Like, what are we doing there? Is this draft's gonna get thrown out? Which would be so disappointing because I love this team that I built. But with Stroud going here, Jordan Mason going at 4, I don't know what to think here. Let me see if that team did anything crazy too. What else did he do crazy? He didn't do anything else crazy. Michael Pittman, a little bit of a reach. I definitely reached on a lot of guys, but I don't know. Draft who you want to draft, I guess, huh? No Gray off. All right, once we finish these picks, we're gonna hop off the stream. Been a long one, hour 30. Do we go Vidal Estime? There a receiver we like? Do we want to go Adonai Mitchell? Blake Corum still on the board. What do we want to do here? Do we want to go Corum? We'll go Corum. Whatever. Now do we go Adonai? Curtis Samuel potentially. Ray. Just double down on the Colts. He's been getting open downfield. That was a tough decision to have to make there. All right, let's take a look at this team and get out of here. Murray, Purdy at quarterback, nice. Gibbs with the bye before this even starts, nice. With Kenneth Walker, hopefully Jalen Warren gets healthy. Antonio Gibson, based on the premise that Ramondre is getting used less on a bad team. Ray Davis in hopes that he's just scoring off touchdowns. James Cook, contingency. Blake Corum, kind of ahead for my bet with Kyron Williams, because I have a lot of Kyron Williams. And maybe a post-bye rookie bump. He has a week 6 bye. Maybe he takes the place of Ronnie Rivers eventually. AJ Brown, Ayuk. AJ Brown with the week 5 bye. McConkey week 5 bye, so they won't have a bye through this tournament. Ayuk stacked with Purdy. Adunze, correlation to Seattle with Lockett Walker. Mike Williams. Alec Pierce, Adonai Mitchell, just in hopes of just deep ball touchdowns from AR or Flacco. McBride and Njoku. McBride stacked with Kyler and Njoku taken because I think Cleveland just continues to pass the ball a shit ton, and he's kind of their number 2 guy, maybe even their number 1 option when he gets back. Like this team a lot. All right, so let's end it there. Appreciate you guys. Like I said,